Okay, Free Radicals, welcome back. My name is Dave, and this is the Radical Independent. Thanks for watching. Thanks for holding on to your subscription to the channel. For those of you who are not subscribed, please subscribe, because I'm starting to hemorrhage viewers, because things have changed a bit, where obviously Tulsi, doesn't appear to have a path to win the Democratic Party nomination. And I want to talk about that because Tulsi Gabbard is kind of like a libertarian who's running in the Democratic Party. The fact that, and this is why I say this, because both the Libertarians and the Green Party are fervently anti-war. That is that's part of their platform. They both realize, the Libertarians from an economic perspective realize that being pro-war is bankrupting the country. So Libertarians are a little bit more concerned about things like austerity and living within your means, stuff like you were taught as a kid, don't spend more money than you have. And we've kind of been spending more money than we have now for decades. That's why you had the Tea Party rise up for a little while, then Trump got elected, and they all went away. It's just like, okay, mission not accomplished, Tea Party. But the Libertarian Party, I believe, is definitely pro-peace and always has been. They have a whole non-aggression part of their platform, which is very refreshing. The Green Party, too, has like the 4 tenets of what they believe in. So I like them both. For the working class, probably people are going to affiliate more with the Green Party and the working class, and for, people that have already kind of made their money, I guess, they're going to look toward the Libertarian Party more so. So it's interesting to see how these things develop. But Tulsi Gabbard apparently was at a campaign event, and I got this off of Twitter, and I got it from somebody who's a very dedicated follower of Tulsi Gabbard and probably watches every single event, and said that someone asked a question about socialism, and Tulsi basically came back with it's a negative remark if you're a Bernie fan, or if you believe that socialism will be the dominant force in American politics. I think the labeling, again, is faulty, and it forces people into boxes, and I think it probably forced Tulsi into a box a little bit, but she said something to the effect that she doesn't believe that socialism will be the dominant force in American politics in the years to come. Very interesting, especially with Bernie on the rise. Now, what Bernie's advocating for, and what I've been saying all along throughout this entire campaign, is this really isn't socialism the way the American media has portrayed it over the past, 100 years. This is something different. This is an FDR-styled hybrid capitalism, hybrid economy. Hybridism is what I came up with. Capitalism, hybridism. There's obviously that going on right now, and a lot of people have figured that out, that we already have Medicare and Social Security and the fire department and, the police department and the library and blah, blah, blah. Go down the list of things that you're willing to fund and you're willing to put your money out there for, and people will happily pay their taxes if the police show up if there's a crime. So that's the way we all have agreed upon that situation. We used to do that with all public education too, right through college. So I don't have a problem with college education being funded by taxpayers. If you want to call it socialism, I just call it, there's an issue and there's some common sense. There's a problem and here's how we fix it. And we agree to do that. We agree that we will pay more taxes to do that. It doesn't take away our freedoms. It doesn't infringe upon our ability to kind of, deal with one another and so forth. And it's not the government forcing something on us. I mean, you can go on all kinds of tangents here. All I want to do is make the case that maybe Tulsi Gabbard might be better off in the Libertarian Party. I know there are some in the Green Party. Jill Stein would love to have her over there. I think she's green enough to be in the Green Party, And the Green Party kind of is split in some areas about their views on socialism. But when you come out and you have a platform, it says eco-socialist New Deal or something rather, and you're inserting that word, and you really don't understand the impact of that word, I think that's where the problems... And again, I would say this to Bernie Sanders. I would say it to everybody on the so-called progressive side of things who are joyfully and gleefully singing the praises of that word, and in the meantime alienating or polarizing, because again, the word has been bastardized for like 100 years, and it isn't really what this is about. It's about, what FDR did, what LBJ did, what JFK did to some degree. Just presidents with 3 initials. Those are the ones that pretty much did it. No, I don't know. Maybe Jimmy Carter did some of it. The point is that do we leave citizens behind? Do we have a better program to pull citizens out of their malaise, out of their poverty? And I used malaise right after Jimmy Carter, so there's probably a subliminal thing going on there. I don't know. But Tulsi Gabbard, she's really hard to put in a box. And I think, though, that she has seen some of the handwriting on the wall, that I think she sees more division up ahead. The reason she sees more division up ahead is, okay, say Sanders wins this nomination, they can't do anything about it, they're going to try, Bloomberg is still out there, they're going to try like hell to get that nomination away from Bernie Sanders. But say he gets there, and he's running, and you've got Trump, and you've got Bernie. And a lot of people have been making this point lately, that, yeah, as far as a presidential matchup, and the media will realize this eventually, this is going to bring in huge ratings. Because you got 2 guys from New York who are going to yell at each other on stage. You got the Bronx brawler against, the Manhattan businessman brawler, whatever. They both yell a lot. And a lot of the Tulsi Gabbard supporters are like, do we need more yelling at this point? And I know this is, look, there are people, what's her name, Crystal there on the Hill. Bernie needs to be Bernie. Just be angry, yell. Does our country really need more yelling at this stage? And I know it's kind of like me calling out people that just F-bomb their videos constantly. Just like one big long F-bomb, effing this and effing that. I'm sitting there going, dude, I want my kids to watch a video. Or I want kids in general to watch videos and feel as though that adults can be conversational without just blowing up their language every single time. Yeah, every so often it's good to throw something out there to make a point, but it's become intrinsic. It's just what we do. So, the point I'm trying to make here, I know, long story short, Dave, is Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is a libertarian. The more I watch her, and because libertarians believe in certain things, and Tulsi believes in a good majority of those things, the Libertarian Party, much like maybe the Green Party to some degree, is a fairly big tent. But I don't think the Green Party is as big of a tent as the Libertarian Party is. And I would, if I were advising her, and it can't be this election cycle because she's going to be accused of being a Russian asset for the entire time she runs as a libertarian, although at least she wouldn't be in the Green Party, which has already had Jill Stein, and now, their reputation is they're a bunch of, Russian assets and so forth. The Libertarians will get it. I didn't hear much about Gary Johnson when he ran for president last time around being a Russian asset. Because, you know why? Because Libertarians probably take a few more votes from the Republicans, but I think they did an analysis and it was pretty much split. It was like 55-45 Republicans, Democrats, what Gary Johnson took. And, as I've been a libertarian before, I like most of what the libertarians stand for. There are things that they really can't figure out, like education, and what do you do with people that really need charity? I mean, if we take money from the war budget, I never hear anybody saying, well, we can prioritize and help people that are poor or homeless. I think you need more compassion in there somewhere rather than, well, the free market will figure it out. Free market is not a force for good. It's just out there. It's a mechanism. And yeah, you can do charitable and decent things. That is, if you're a decent human being, if you're a compassionate human being. But I want to get back to this idea of there are two people who are going to be nominated, it looks like here. Obviously Trump and then Bernie, who are going to yell at each other and who are going to yell at people. And our country is already so divided, so riled up. And here comes this dove in the literal sense, Tulsi Gabbard, who's got a dove-like voice for the most part. Yeah, she gets mad. She said F that S. She said a couple of things that have certainly made, the younger generation perk up and listen to her. But the adults in the room are going to look at her demeanor. They're going to look at her record, her service, the fact that she ran this campaign basically calling out others and saying that, look, you need to put service before self. And people just, they're not inspired by that, because that's going to require that they do something. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, if you're waiting, it's that old thing about, God sent a helicopter, God threw down a rope, and the person said, hey, man, I'm just trusting in God, and I'll be all right. And they didn't take the helicopter, they didn't take the boat, and eventually they went over the cliff and the boat destroyed, and they were supposedly in heaven at the pearly gates, and they're like, hey, God, I thought you were going to take care of me. He's like, hey, I sent a helicopter, a boat, and, a couple other things, and you just didn't take them. So sometimes we have to understand that we have to be involved in accepting the challenge and actually doing something with our life and not waiting around. And I'm not trying to take a right-wing position here about waiting for the government to intervene, but we're supposedly the government, right? We're the people, we are the government. We are the ones that choose these people. So it's up to us to work in concert with these people and make things happen. Tulsi Gabbard is that kind of candidate. She would be a get-off-your-butt candidate and help out. She wouldn't be, hey, government, we're going to take care of you. It's going to be okay. Just sit back. You'd have to do something with Tulsi. You'd be inspired to do something for Tulsi, right? And I'm not saying Bernie supporters are lazy or they're not willing to do anything. We're in a weird place right now because we got this guy who's in office now, and some of his economic numbers look really good on paper, all right? And you're going to have to challenge that and say, look, a lot of people have been left behind. We still have a war-based economy. We still have incredible polarization. People lose family members, not literally, but figuratively, who they can no longer speak to because of the political divide. People are stressed out more than ever. Inflation is going unchecked because we continue to print money to solve problems. When last fall we found out that, the Fed just started printing money to offset what looked like it could have been another great recession or the beginning of one. They started printing money. They rewrote the laws. So every time when this happens, they're allowed to go out there and just lubricate the system and do backroom quantitative easing, which is nothing more than just monetizing the debt. And they do it in all of the financial markets. That's why I've come along in recent days and said, hey, you should be doing that with people. People's like student loan debt. Why can't you monetize that? That would help the economy because that person might be able to go and purchase a house afterward. So I know this is kind of long and rambling, and this is the stuff I get criticized for. People leave comments and they say, get to the point. You just, you're too slow. this is what I do, okay? It works really well for me over on the music channel for some reason, but here it's a little different. So I'm wrapping up this video by saying that if Tulsi Gabbard were to run for office again, she would probably fit nicely into the Libertarian Party template. And there's, in the Green Party to some degree too. I mean, more than 50, 60, 70% of her platform, I think, would fit well over there. But we need these other parties to stop talking about Russia and stop talking about things, again, that I don't think, maybe I'll be proven wrong someday. Maybe we'll find out this was just an all evil plot by Putin 24/7 trying to sow discord. This is what you hear now, is that Putin puts this stuff out to sow discord. You mean contrary views to the establishment is sowing discord, or the people are waking up and they're saying, I don't like these views, and thus I'm voicing my opinion on this? That's now what they actually categorize as sowing discord. Then wow, anybody could sow. I could sow discord. Jimmy Dore has a T-shirt that says "Sowing Discord." I had that shirt. I don't know where it went. I think my older son may have it somewhere. But in any event, folks, I think Tulsi Gabbard, her voice is needed in this, and I think she's going to ride right to the convention. And hopefully she's going to get a chance to talk. If she doesn't, she's still going to get a lot of publicity, and people are going to talk about why is she still in, what does she have to say, and she's going to preach anti-war, and she's going to mean it. She's going to say, you know what? If a country tests a nuclear device, I'm not going to try to preemptively strike that country. What I'm going to do is sit down and try to negotiate with them so they won't do that anymore, and so we don't escalate the situation. This is the kind of peace-mongering that I want. And if I have to go looking libertarian, I'll go looking libertarian. If I have to go look in the Green Party, I'm going to go look over there. Because that is the existential issue of our time. Climate change, which a lot of people think is a big, big deal, climate change will never be addressed until we address the warfare state. All right, so anybody who says, hey, I really am concerned about climate change, well, if you want the same foreign policy that we've been having, you're really not that concerned about climate change. It's like a pet peeve issue for you. It's a little, look, it's a virtue signaling thing. Hey, I care about the climate, really? Do you care about endless war? Because Bernie would preemptively hit a country that tested a nuclear device. He would start a war, essentially, because that's an active war. And I don't think that's going to help the climate change situation. And not negotiating with these countries, which it's called diplomacy, that's certainly going, the lack of cooperation, say that country is a big-time polluter, like China, who's, everybody knows China was building coal plants while we were supposedly shutting them down. They were building more of them. So they don't care about climate change. They care about their billion-plus population over there, and they're trying to, create enough energy for everybody who can, so they can live over there. But if we're going to convince them, maybe they should try a different source of energy, like solar or whatever it is that we tell them. Even natural gas would burn cleaner than coal. But there's an abundance of coal, and it's cheap, and, America is ditching it. China doesn't care. We're never going to cooperate with these countries, and we're never going to fix these global issues if we're constantly at war with everybody. So I'm going with the peace candidate, which is Tulsi for now. And I'm going with the peace party. That could be the Green Party. That could be the Libertarian Party. I'm open because I see those things as bigger threats. And we can talk about the economic stuff. We can have nice debate, robust debate about that stuff. But in the end, folks, both of those parties are for individual rights and liberties and so forth. And other than, the economic stuff, there isn't a lot of difference. I think Tulsi Gabbard would be a better fit in the LP than the Green Party, but who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think she's going anywhere for now. I think she wants to reform the Democratic Party, or at least be a sane voice within that party. that honestly, she's like a prophet. She's like one of those Old Testament minor prophets that comes along and preaches, and people look at it and they go, yeah, she might be right, but, you know, I see this little shiny thing up ahead, which is a Bernie nomination, so, you know, Tulsi just better fall in line and get on board now. And now you're going to hear people, if they hear that remark that she made about socialism, you know, they're going to basically say, look, she was just pretending to be she wasn't pretending to be anything. Tulsi Gabbard is who she is. She's not pretending to be a progressive. The Democratic Party has neoliberals for the most part and a few progressives. Tulsi, she's her own person. She fit probably better in the Democratic Party, but you can't really, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe she got elected as a Democrat and a lot of people thought she was a neoliberal. I think in Hawaii they certainly think that because they wanted to primary her with a neoliberal candidate. And I don't know, folks. I wish there were thousands of Tulsi Gabbards all over the country who wanted to reform the political system. And then we could find a name for whatever it is it ends up being at the end. Because names and labels, I think, alienate people. But anyway, folks, think about Tulsi Gabbard, Libertarian Party. Yeah, I think it could be a thing for real. All right, folks, I am done with this video. It's a long video, and if you watched all the way through, you probably just put it on the background and had me rambling, which is good. Please, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and also PayPal, it's David J. Spuria, S-P-U-R-I-A, @gmx.com. That's for one-time PayPal donations. If you want to join my Patreon crew, which I share with the music channel, there's a logo on the banner of this page, top right side. It's the letter P. It's a little red logo. Click on that, and that's how you can sign up for Patreon. Until we meet again, bonsoir, or bonjour. See you soon.